Hello, I am John. This is a Hobby Roundup, and you're watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies. Hello, and welcome to May's Hobby Roundup. I've got a few things that I want to run through that I've been working on this month. I'm going to go in no particular order, so I'm going to start with one of the projects I've been working on the channel, and that's the Great Unclean one. This chap is now ready for painting. He's all primed, ready to go. I'm going to do a few videos on painting this guy. What I'll probably end up doing is doing short videos on certain processes. You'll also notice with this guy, because I've cut one of his horns off, I've made this little piece as an objective marker for a campaign that I'll play in the future. In this little Necromunda case is the remains of his horn. So I'll tie that into an interesting campaign. It'll be a bit of an objective marker or something that corrupts a gang or something like that. So talking about Necromunda, I did a little bit of painting of some scenery. So there is a video I've posted on the channel of how I got the finish of this container, this green. I painted these little ammo boxes in the video. Someone requested it as they saw me post it over on Twitter. Really like the way that this one's turned out. There's not much to say about it. It is a box which I've painted green. Going into the ash wastes of Necromunda, a quick piece of terrain that I created was a ridge hauler trailer which has been destroyed and damaged just to be a piece of scenery. I may do a little bit more paintwork on this one, but the basics are there, ready for it to sit on the tabletop. I did use the other components of this on another conversion I did quite a while ago, so I had this hanging around, so I thought it'd be good to make it into something that I could use on the tabletop. I've also been working on my Cawdor Cargo 8 ridge hauler, which I've been stripping down so it doesn't have a full roof on the cabin. I've still got to put a lot of the details on, but on the back of it as well, I've got this little lean-to shelter, which I also created so it can come off and be a separate little terrain piece as a little way station and so on. So it's got salvaged bits and pieces in it. So this can sit as either an objective marker or a small part of a settlement or something in the ash wastes. But I like the way that I can put it back onto the ridge hauler and it makes it look like the Cawdor have added a few of their own little details to this. Still got to finish this one, but I'm going back to it every so often, just when I get an idea of what I want it to look like. But I'm really happy with the way that this is turning out so far. Going off Games Workshop and Warhammer for a bit, I've been working on my DL44 project. This is a combination of 3D prints as well as some cast and bought sections. Let me zoom the camera out so you can have a look at this. So here we have a DL44 from Star Wars. I'm thinking about moving the sight down on this one so it's a bit more screen accurate, but I'm quite happy with it being taller than the standard one. The 3D print I got from Thingiverse, and it's a resin print. I've still got to do the weathering and a bit of paint work on this one, but I really like how it turned out. I've created it so you can take the muzzle off, and then I could put an extended barrel on if I wanted to be like the DL44 rifle that you can get as well, which is seen in the Solo movie. But yeah, something slightly different that I was really quite happy about. Like I said, I've still got to do some weathering and so on, but as a little prop piece, I like how it's turned out. So jumping back to Games Workshop, this time Warhammer 40,000, I started doing some experimentation with painting for a Dark Angels army that I want to start for the next edition that's coming out in the summer. Each of these legs was painted with a slightly different method. The one on the left of the screen, the right leg, I gave a wash with a Bal Red before applying the Dark Angels green contrast paint. The other leg just had the Dark Angels green contrast paint, and then both had a dry brush of Moot Green. It doesn't really come up as much on camera as it does when you're looking at it, but with the red base it did give a few deeper colours to the recesses, and it also helped the contrast paint flow a bit more smoothly over the model itself. But as you can see on camera, it doesn't make much difference, so it's something that I'm not going to do on every miniature, but on miniatures that I want to stand out a little bit more, I'm going to do that. And that's the reason why I did the experiment, because I've been working on my Lionel Johnson model. I've been painting the green armour at the moment. This is something that I'll be finishing off over the coming month or so, but it's quite nice to get the green armour finished for the end of May. Got all the gold trim and everything else to put on there. But the same process, I actually did a wash with the Bal Red in all the recesses and on the details. I then went over with the contrast paint, followed by the dry brushing of the Moot Green. But after that, I used Nuln Oil to go through the recesses and just bring out a few of the extra details and so on. So as you can see, I've sub-assembled this, so the shield's not on and the backpack's not on. I've got those separate to paint and then put on. What I've also done with this model is I've magnetised his head, so the bear head goes on, and I can actually turn the bear head to whichever direction I want it to be in. And I only chose a second head rather than all of the different options, and that's the winged helmet. Get that in focus. Which sits straight in place with the magnets. I do like using magnets with certain models just to get that kind of bit of options available whilst playing and also painting. It looks quite nice being able to change these over. Haven't done anything to the base yet, but that'll be something I'll do at the very end. I may even decide to put him onto a different base. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, as a starting point for a new Dark Angels army, I'm really quite happy with this model. I feel quite lucky that I got hold of this one. There's been quite a few recently that I've missed out on, just because of the unfortunate way that the pre-orders work and so on. We're not going to go into that though, because I like to be more positive with the hobby. So yeah, there is Lionel Johnson so far. I hope to do a lot more over the coming month or two to get him finished. So as well as these things, I've also started a new hobby this month. I've joined a reenactment group, which I'll post some videos at the end of this current video. I may post a few bits and pieces of that group on this channel. If you'd like to see more and learn more about the group, drop a comment below, and I'm quite happy to do a few extra videos on it. Other than that, for this month, that's everything I've done so far. Over the coming months, I've got a few projects on the go that I'm going to introduce to you and bring out a few more videos on the channel. But if you've got any requests, please drop a comment and I'll do my best to do those videos. But for now, thank you so much for watching. My name's John, and you're watching War Games, Models, and Other Hobbies.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to get fired. And fire! Left your questions, gentlemen. Hold the line. Close your eyes to the centre. Tighten your order. Prepare to stand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what the difference training makes. Gentlemen, keep going. Got two dogs.